the city for Beyond Me, the show. I'm so excited. I guess I say that every time, but I'm just super, super excited this week because three-part series on young youth entrepreneurs, and I'm excited to introduce you guys to Miles Davis. Okay, he is the CEO of Be Empowered Clothing. Uh, you know, he's an activist. He's a chess tournament director. He's a climate change leader, a community activist. I mean, what can you not do, Mr. Davis?
I'm so glad to be here.
The titles are, they go on and on. I mean, really. I love it. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am wonderful. Oh, well, let's just jump right into it because I am super excited to talk to you. You are the CEO of Be Empowered Clothing. Do I say the word clothing or just Be Empowered?
Be Empowered Clothing.
Be Empowered Clothing. You are how old?
16.
16 years old.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love it. I love it. How did you get started?
I started when I was around 12, so this was October of 2020, so right after the pandemic hit. And I started out actually with just t-shirts, and I was only doing kids' clothing. And the funny thing is, the only reason I did adults' clothing was because some kids were wearing adult sizes. So there were some kids who were wearing adult medium, adult large. So then I started expanding. So now I do hats, I do sweatsuits, hoodies, t-shirts, all things like that, athletic wear.
I love that. And like, how does it feel to be a 16-year-old CEO? Well, I guess you were 12-year-old CEO, but now you're 16. How does it feel?
It's great. I'm glad to see the impact that I'm able to have because I know I meet other young entrepreneurs or young future entrepreneurs that are just thinking about starting a business, and I'm able to give them a little bit of inspiration, maybe some advice. So I'm glad to be a good inspiration to them.
So we talk about COVID. I know that, I've got a line of things that I want to ask you about, but you talk about COVID, and for some reason, I just kind of got off track a little bit because it's like COVID just happened and you were 12, and COVID is still kind of here. Do you, COVID was bad and good. Do you think that the COVID for you just became something that you you got out of like inspiration for an excellent time for you were like, okay, COVID helped me. It didn't help a lot of other people, but it helped you just be creative or
Yeah, for me, during the pandemic, when we had to, of course, quarantine and we were all spending a lot of time at home, I figured, I did the best I could with that time and was able to brainstorm new ideas. So that was a time I used just to be creative and just keep thinking of new ideas. And I was able to talk to my family about it. We're all home, we're all bouncing ideas off of each other. So I used that time pretty well.
so COVID helped you.
Yeah, I think the time was really good. A lot of free time to think, a lot of free time to learn, do research. Of course, the events were unfortunate, but I did do the best with my free time.
Well, a lot of people did the best for what they could. I love that you're an inspiration. So we'll get right into it because the number one advice that no one has told young people, what would you say that the kind of number one thing is? You're young, you're talking to young people. You guys think different. You guys are we're old school. You guys are new school. What would you say?
Well, to a young entrepreneur, I would say, of course, keep going and stay focused. Everyone says that, but also be prepared to make adjustments because a lot of times when you have new ideas, sometimes you're not prepared to change them, or maybe you want to keep things the way that you're used to and comfortable being. So, for example, for me, the idea was a kids' clothing brand. So when I started off, I was thinking just kids, and I actually didn't want to do adults clothing. But then the demand started. There were people that didn't have kids, and there were kids that were bigger, so they needed adult size, right? So being able to change your idea, don't be afraid to change your idea, even if you don't want to, because it might be best.
I want to say that that's kind of the some of the best advice I think I've ever heard. Don't be afraid to kind of change your idea. You learned that at a young age, but that might not even just go for the youth. That could go for us adults as well. So you're in school. You're going into what year?
My senior year.
At 16. The math is, oh, you're
Well,
right.
I skipped a grade.
I was going to talk about the math. I knew it. I knew it because all of these titles that you have, it's like the math is not mathing. You skipped a year.
Yes, sir.
So you're just amazing all the way around. I'm so happy you decided to speak with me today because I've seen you in action. I've seen you on shows and the videos I've seen you on, the community activist days that I've seen you do. I think that you are simply amazing, especially in the vendor space. I just want to let everybody know I've seen you there and your setup, from your setup to even not even from that, from the beginning with your mom, right? And your dad, everybody was so amazing. And to see that kind of quality, not only in your clothes, but in the way you guys carry yourself, you are simply an amazing human being. I really love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So in your senior year, what is your major at this point? I know high school is different, but you have to have a focus, correct?
Right. So for me, my focus is computer science. So I want to go to college to study that. And I got interested in the beginning, it was more so engineering and STEM. And then I got more interested in computer science because I was on a robotics team. And our goal was to have a robot to complete certain tasks. So there were different sections to the team. One section was focused more on building the robot and the physical components. The other section of the team is focused more on the code and the programming. So I did both teams and I liked the programming more. So that's where I got the idea for computer science from. And this happened from age of around 10 to 13. I kind of was going back and forth between mechanical engineering and computer science. I was torn between both, but especially with the way that AI is going and ChatGPT, all these new systems and new technologies out, computer science is definitely, I mean, I'm so excited just to learn about it. So that's definitely my major there, computer science.
I love that. I love your excitement to learn about it. I've heard about the STEM program, and it's not a lot of Black youth in that STEM program. So now that it's becoming a thing, correct?
Right.
You see a lot more of Black young men and women, correct?
Definitely. I joined the National Society of Black Engineers, and it was a great program for me because I was able to see people that look like me, people interested in technology and STEM. So that was a great experience for me.
I love that. We're going to take a break on that note because I think you might know my nephew if that's the case, because he is the vice president or president. This is Millie in the City. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Millie in the City for Beyond Me, the show. I am doing a 3-part series on youth entrepreneurs, young Black entrepreneurs. I love it. I have the infamous, I'm going to say the infamous now, Miles Davis, who is the CEO of Be Empowered Clothing. So I have to give him his flowers because he's a chess tournament director, a climate change leader, and a community activist. And actually, I think he mentioned something else that he was. And that's not on my list, but it should be. Thank you so much for joining me today, sir.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Glad to be
We
here.
we were talking about you started in COVID and things of that nature. Um, as I was thinking, there was one question um, that I had for you. What are your thoughts on quality versus quantity? We can use that in a lot of areas. But as I looked at the things that you were selling and how your setup was and the quality of your clothing, what do you think about those things? Quality versus quantity.
Well, for me, I think when it comes to clothing, quality is definitely important. And quantity, they're both equally as important. But I think that you don't want to sacrifice the quality for the quantity. So for me, I work towards making the best quality clothing and constantly finding ways to increase the quality, make it more comfortable, make it look better, more breathable. So I'm constantly thinking of ways to enhance the quality while still being able to have sizes for everyone, enough for everyone to be able to get it. So I want the quantity and the quality. But for me, when I first started out, of course, I've increased my quality since then by just learning, getting feedback, learning about what materials work, what's comfortable, what's best for t-shirts, for hats, for hoodies. So I'm still learning about that as I'm going through this journey.
And so I heard you give advice, which I love. What is the some of the best advice that you've gotten thus far?
Some of the best advice I've gotten was to use mentors and connections because networking is very important. And sometimes starting a business, it makes some people take a more independent approach, but mentors are very resourceful and very useful. And I have great mentors around me that have taught me a lot. So keeping mentors around you, making good connections, that's very important. And that's some of the best advice I've gotten.
Yeah, I love that answer. I too was very independent. And you have to learn the hard way, right? You're just
Right.
like, wait a minute, I'm not doing this correctly. And then you hear the advice. Have you ever heard it? Have you ever been like independent so far? Because I know you're young, but then you were like, had to go back and be like, you were right. I was wrong. Have you ever done that?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Beginning, I did manually making the t-shirts. So I had my machine and my printer, and I manually made a lot of the clothing. So of course, as I get more pieces, it's less reasonable for me to be making each and every one of the clothing. So that did make it unique because I was able to tell people I made all of this myself. So that made it more unique, but also I was able to increase the quality by using manufacturers. Then I was able to ship it out. So now I have better quality because I'm not doing it myself. So definitely using your resources is important. Even if you want to maintain independent, you can keep a sense of independency while still using the resources around you.
Yeah, I think that's just so important. Now, I know you said you were a senior. At first, I thought, for some reason, I thought you were in 11th grade. Of course, you skipped, right? Of course, you skipped college plans. I know you said you wanted to go into the tech space. What college are you going to? Are we allowed to know?
Oh, I still have a lot of, I'm still working that out. So I have a lot of colleges I have in mind. And for me, I like John Hopkins. I was able to get a visit there and actually meet some of the staff there. So John Hopkins, I like that school. I love University of Maryland
Mm.
and I love Virginia Tech. So these, for me and my parents, we did a lot of research on what are the best schools for computer science. And those schools are on that list. So the ones closer to me, I'm still going on visits, still learn more about it.
Mhm, mhm. Did you get these scholarships or can you speak about it?
I'm not speaking on that at this moment.
I knew that. See, I'm right. Thank you for smiling. I knew that. I knew you couldn't speak on it. Okay, but that's okay. I love that. Why? Because I met your parents. I think they're awesome. Why is community so important to you?
Well, a lot of that, I would give the credit to my parents for that. Even when I was younger, around 5, 6, 7 years old, my parents, they would set up and give out supplies to shelters. So seeing that when I was really young, that just showed me that there are people in need, even if I don't see them every day, there are people in need. So a few weeks ago, I collaborated with TEC and I was able to do a back to school event where we gave away
Mhm.
groceries, backpacks, school supplies. And I'm doing that annually now. It was a great event. Also had a chess tournament at that event too. So it was great to see that all come together. I've never done a chess tournament at the same time as the back to school giveaway, so we were interested to see how that would work out. And it worked out pretty well.
So I've never learned to play chess. When did you start playing chess?
I started when I was 5. My dad taught me how to play chess.
I knew the
And
answer.
right.
I don't know you, but I knew that answer. I don't know why. I don't know why I knew that answer, but I knew the answer. And so at 5, you just started playing with him. Can you can you beat him?
Oh yes. Yes.
I, does he know that?
He
Or
does. He knows.
you
He's
know,
been proving it.
I see the smile on your face. What is his name? I have to think about the young man's name who plays basketball, and his father is he was married to Lala. What was his name? It's not coming to me.
Carmelo Anthony.
Yes, and so his son just threw him under the bus. He was like, I can take him. I can take the old man. Like, oh my God. It was just so, he was just, I mean, he was dead serious. He was so confident. Did you watch the Olympics at all?
I didn't watch it, but I did hear about it. I know USA was able to bring home the gold, so that was good.
Goes in a lot. So you don't have any sports plans.
No, not for me. No sports.
Oh, chess is a sport. Okay. Don't let anybody tell you it's not. Would you recommend, we're going to go to break, but would you recommend chess to everyone, all the youth? Like, is that something you think that everybody should start with? Maybe they should have it in schools, more schools and things of that nature. Answer that. We'll be right back. This is Millie in the City for Beyond Media Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Millie in the City for Beyond Me, the show. And we have been talking to the magnificent Miles Davis. He is the CEO of Be Empowered Clothing. He's also a chess tournament director, okay? A climate change, uh, a climate change leader, community activist, all at the age of 16, okay? Thank you so much for talking to me today, Mr. Davis.
No problem. Glad to be here.
I love it. We've been talking about everything from community to your brand. What are your future brand plans after college? You going to keep doing it in college or?
Yeah, I definitely want to keep growing with the brand. And for me, you mentioned me being a climate change leader, and what I'm into now, I'm learning about how can I make my clothing keep people cooler because you were there at the event where it was very hot and everybody was looking for water. Everybody was
Yeah.
sweating, it was really hot. So for me, I want to make clothing that keeps you cool because as we know, the earth is heating up with global warming. That's a big problem for us. So staying cool, staying hydrated is very important.
I love that. And you were talking a little bit about your parents, and they were there. How do how do they feel about you being the CEO? Are they supportive?
But yes, definitely. They love it. They're my biggest supporters. They love it. They are the reason why I did it because they're both entrepreneurs as well. So when I started with the clothing brand, they were giving me all the ideas and they were signing me up for different programs to learn more about it, saying, hey, look, there's an event you can go vend here. We can go learn about here. They're the reason why I was able to sell in different malls as well. I had a kiosk at St. Charles Mall and the Mall of Prince George's, thanks to them.
Oh, and both of those are in Maryland. I've been to both of those, and that is awesome because those aren't cheap either.
Definitely.
No, 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 they are not. I love that. And so you're going to expand. You want to make things cooler. When you did your first gig event, how did that go for you? Did everything go right?
For me, I think it was great for me. It was a great experience because I was able to learn about directly talking to the people, explaining to them how I did this, why do I make the clothes, and just dealing with the customers directly at the age of 12, that taught me a lot because I was homeschooled before high school. So I was able to just kind of just get out there, get used to talking to people, reaching out to them, saying, hey, my name is Miles, this is what I do. Would you mind giving me a minute of your time? Right. So doing that at 12, that was great for me. And I was learning about how to be social and customer service. These are all skills that I need.
I love that. Now I want to jump back if you don't mind, because you said that it was a big opportunity. You did the back to school giveaway, but you had a chess tournament. How was that with your chess tournament? Because that's a lot going on all at one time.
Right. So Mr. Vaughn Bennett, he's one of my instructors, and he's the reason why I became a tournament director. So he helped me with running the tournament, and we had it in a separate room. We had trophies, we had award ceremonies, and it was great. The parents loved it, everyone was pleased, and we got great feedback from that event. So I'm really glad it went well. And for the tournament, we had different sections. So we had kindergarten to first grade, kindergarten to third, and then kindergarten to sixth, kindergarten to eighth, kid 12, and etc. So those were the sections for us. They competed really well. A lot of time for me when watching tournaments, I see a lot of the younger kids, they move a little bit too fast. And me and Mr. Bennett talk about that all the time. They move so fast that they're not really paying as much attention. So I was glad to see them taking their time and competing. So it was a great tournament.
I mean, I love that. I love that. So after you attend the college of your choice, in my mind, I have things I would like you to root for. I'm rooting for you for a couple of colleges that I've heard about, but I mean, John Hopkins, wow, that's huge. After you do all of that and you're doing your clothing brand, do you expect to expand? Do you want to expand globally?
I definitely do. I definitely want to expand globally. There's so many people that I haven't met yet. There's so many spaces I haven't been to, regions I haven't been in. So global is very important for me because I've been able to go around my community around the DMV area. So I've been able to meet a lot of people and going global, it'll be a great experience for me because just seeing that people live differently in these countries, different languages, different cultures, that's awesome for me. So going global is definitely part of the plan.
Oh, I mean, that is huge. I will be rooting for you. I can't wait to get my be in part because I was eyeing one of the couple of shirts and that you have. I'm not a big sweatshirt person, but I am a sweat jacket type person. So I'm really going to be waiting. Purple is my favorite color. Just throwing it out there. Okay.
No, appreciate
um,
it.
where can let's get your social media out the way. Where can people find you?
Definitely. So go to Instagram at CEOBE Clothing. I'll say it again, CEOBE Clothing. Go to Instagram, follow us there, get our updates, new releases, new events. There's a lot coming soon.
I love that. So you're on Instagram. Are you on Twitter?
And I'm on Twitter as well, Be Empowered Clothing. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok.
You're on TikTok, so you got a
Yeah,
lot of things on TikTok. I think I saw some videos. And you know what? I thank you. I know you have school on Monday. I know
definitely.
you wanted to relax. Thank you so much. But I had one final question. Um, there's a lot of people, you talked about your parents being huge inspirations. What can you say to the youth right now, that are listening to you right now, that don't have that support or anything close to it?
Well, to any young entrepreneur that doesn't have the same support system, I would say as you go throughout your journey, you will find support. And that support team, it will build itself around you. And even if you don't see it right now, just keep going because supporters, they're there and they maybe they haven't met you yet. But when they meet you, they will be happy to support. And you will meet tons of people along the way that will help you out and they will be rooting for you and cheering for you. So just keep going.
You mentioned your mentor. That was one of the first things you got. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I had a
Uh,
lot of mentors.
you have. I was gonna say I had like four. I mean, I had like most. That I had one a man at one point, but it was important for me to have women mentors as well. And I had my parents. I mean, they were the biggest mentors of them all. So I do understand that support. You know, I really want to say thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I am rooting for you. I am rooting for everything Be Empowered Clothing.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
so I
much.
will expect, so I give you my address, so you can send it on over so it can be on the show. We'd be honored to do anything that you are willing to give us.
Thank you so much. This was great. This is great. I appreciate you bringing me on.
Thank you so much. This is Millie in the City for Beyond Me, the show. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.